Hello, hi, welcome. My name is Alistair Leith and I've got the Hankin family here. Grace Hankin's kindly recording for us. This is Deborah Hankin, who've kindly come down to show us how to put this, help us demonstrate how to put this lovely telescope together. We've got it all in bits. Obviously, clearly it hasn't just arrived, but we're trying to simulate how it would have arrived from Germany, and all the bits are down here. So very quickly, let's go through what you should have. Obviously, clearly, start with the big bits and going down. We've got the tripod, and you can see that the actual accessory triangle is in there, so that's fine. It's a pain putting that together, trust me. There's your telescope, and the star diagonal is in at the end there. So let me just quickly undo that just for completeness purposes. There we are. That is the star diagonal. That is what that looks like. Yours has probably got dust caps on it. I should put that down there with the accessories. Basically, here's what we've got the array. Let me give you the quick guided tour before I start picking bits up. That side, eyepiece accessories. You've got eyepieces, Barlows, there's your finder. And over on the left hand side are the bits to help us put the actual telescope together. The big bit here, which you can see, is the mount, which will sit on the tripod there. And with the mount, you can see it's most of the part is there. That's what sits on top of the tripod. And here you've got the screw to pop that in, so that will screw in underneath there to there. That's what that is. There is the actual cuff to hold the telescope on, which Grace is going to demonstrate for us. So that's going to be screwing literally onto there, and that is what that bolt is here. You see that okay from there, Grace?
Yes, sir.
So that's going to screw into here, which Grace will then demonstrate. And down here we've got a couple of other bolts. That is to help us get the right latitude for the telescope. We'll see that later on, but that's important there. You should also have your weight bar, which goes into the mount here. It will screw into there. We'll get into that shortly. And no prizes for guessing that weight will then go onto here. Also, what we've got is a couple of nuts. Well, yeah, they're nuts, aren't they? And these will screw onto the telescope there for the finder. We'll get to that later in the video. They basically hold that on. You've got two holes, that goes onto those two nuts, and they hold that on there. Also, what we've got are the two movement knobs, which you should also have. So these, I believe, are most of the accessories I've covered. Nuts, bolts, that's been covered off. That's the bracket for the finder. Moving over then, I think. Star diagonal. Please put that into your telescope. It will be very hard to focus without it. We'll come to how we do that shortly. You should also have two eyepieces, which, Grace, can you see the side markings of the eyepiece? I don't know if you have to come any closer to see that. But there it says PL 6.5mm. So it's the focal length of that eyepiece. If you refer to the starting in the astronomy module of Space Cadets, we've gone into what those numbers mean. That's a high power eyepiece, and this is a 25mm Plossl. That's a lower power eyepiece. That's what we've got there. And we also have a 3x Barlow, which basically magnifies any eyepiece by up to 3 times. And this you probably won't need. That's more of an erecting eyepiece, more for terrestrial work, but for astronomy we don't worry too much about that one. This one here is your finder scope. This is what sits on there. It helps us find objects in the night sky. We look through this one first using the crosshairs that's inside this telescope, and then whatever we see through there, we should see through there. How do we do it? Bear with me, that's another video. But in effect, that and of course the accessory tray, which fits into that tripod. So in effect, in summary, this is what we've got. You've got your mount, your equatorial mount. You've got your bolt that secures that to the tripod there. Go through that hole, which Grace will demonstrate shortly. You've got the bar again that holds the counterweight that screws into there. And we've also got the weight that goes on, and we've got the other bits and pieces. That helps with the latitude, getting the telescope at the right angle. That screws into here, which we'll get to. You've got your two finder bolts that screw your bracket onto your telescope there, and your two knobs, your 2 rods to aid with moving the actual telescope. These are the parts you should have with this. So yeah, thank you very much guys. We'll come back shortly where we'll look at putting this together. See you in a bit.